Hey there, everyone. My name is Ayla. I'm coming to you on this crisp, almost wintry day and wanted to connect with the new realtors and those who are thinking in a new way. It's clear that the structures of our world are collapsing. A lot of the economic factors that have been holding up our industry as realtors are tumbling down. We see that the wealth has been distributed in really unfair ways, particularly in places like the US where I live, where we have the colonial heritage. And you may be wondering, like, I'm in this field as a realtor. There must be something beyond this green paradigm. If you're like me, you look at the greed, the realtor bros out there. Like, I see all these YouTube people who are talking about accumulation, extraction. It's just so focused on the greed. And what I know in my bones, and you might know too, is that that kind of extraction creates a lot of harm in our world, to our planet, to our communities, to our society, to our culture. To continue to have that model be the only model of holding land and transferring land. And so I'm here in the, I don't know what percent, 1% of realtors who sees that there's gotta be a new way through if we're gonna do this differently. And, we actually have a lot of power as realtors, power to change the dynamic of how land is transferred and held, how people view their relationship with their land and how it is passed down through families even. All of those exchanges involve realtors, and there's just a lot more depth that can be offered through a deep understanding of how people inherit, hold, and share their land, whether they're ready to transfer it upon their passing or simply share what they already have with their families, with their communities, and seeing a broader vision of this resource that we all have. And the resource that has a lot of deep memories on it, the memories of love and connection that you may have had at your family home, or for instance, land that you may have acquired that was stolen or taken from the title declared and taken from the Native Americans, or for instance, areas where slaves were held and their labor and capital was stolen from them and exploited to propagate the land and the desires of the few. And so we have a chance to really sit into these questions and listen deeply to how we can be part of shifting the balance of who holds land in our country and in our world. And how can we be part of giving some of that back to especially disenfranchised people who are struggling deeply from historical oppression. That might be you, and you could be part of that change as well. Or you could be like me, one who has inherited a lot from my own ancestry and feels compelled to not be part of the system any longer, feels compelled to be a cycle breaker who, not for my own ego sense, but really a sense of justice and reparation, to start to give the land back, to share the land, to be part of dissolving the greed matrix. And that has really held it so that particularly ancestors of slaves and indigenous people in our world have less than 2% of the land of our country and less than 3% of the farmland. And so if you can imagine how that impacts a whole society, a whole culture of people without access to what they need to grow their food on, and how they can build generational wealth through land, sharing land, through land trusts that can actually develop really deeply into a next level for their family and generations to come. So those are some of the things that the extraction and greed mentality has truly taken away from certain groups. And I'm certainly one who wants to be part of creating something new. And so that's what this is here for. So if you resonate with this or are just a little bit curious, please follow along the journey. I also have a little introduction to a process that you can go deep into. What are my ancestors? What are my roots? Why am I really being called into this real estate profession? And what do I want to, what kind of legacy do I want to leave through this? Legacy not just of money, but of the people I touch, the relationships I build, the communities that I help create and form and establish, the families that I help grow, and the sense of health and well-being that I'm able to be part of by simply, with integrity, stewarding land in a different way, transferring land, and being part of that very kind of sacred transition moment with people. And I think there's a really strong possibility for us there to be a really cool new way to do this. If you do want to read a little bit more about some of these new paradigm ways of being a realtor, you can check out my website. And I have some articles about what land trusts are, landlegacytrust.org. I'll put that in the notes below. That's a great place to start. There's also some books that I can recommend, and I will put that up on the Realtor Knowledge Hub on my website. So Realtor Knowledge Hub is where you can go to start educating yourself and seeing if this way resonates with you. Okay,